Okay, a couple of days ago I did a video on the movement for the People's Party. And in that I mentioned about Eisenhower's farewell address, what he had said about the military-industrial complex. Now, it's funny, the coincidence, I mean, this happens quite often, where I'll talk about something, and then like 2-3 days later, you'll see it in the news, something about this sort of thing. It seems to take that long, and there's no link between me saying it, because I'm, pretty small fry. But people tend to think alike. Well, this got mentioned after Trump was talking about the Pentagon and their wild-ass spending. It brings me back to when we were throwing them tomahawks at Syria just for the hell of it. Kind of, because it was to punish them for supposedly dropping chemicals on their own people, this sort of nonsense, which was all made up, but we go on made up shit all the time. So we were going to punish them. So we put ships over there, we start throwing them tomahawks at them. $2 million a piece, over 100 of them went. And when this was going on, the reps from these military contractors were on the ship. And they're all smiles and giggles. I mean, this was great. I mean, they're just making money hand over fist as these things are flying. They were just tickled with this whole operation. Which was just a hopeless, pointless exercise. The only thing it did do, the Syrians using their outdated Soviet air defense system shot down like 75% of them. There was a bunch of them that just crashed for no reason. Pretty shaky operation. Well, but these contractors, oh God, they were just tickled with this operation. And when he was talking, a lot of these generals that are in the Pentagon now, they retire, they immediately go to work for one of these contractors. They end up coming back and lobbying who's ever in charge now. It's a hell of a mess. It's just a waste of time. But the funny part was, huge amounts of money get spent, just disappears. Then on this Morning Joe thing, on one of the networks, I don't know, they're all pretty much the same. But he brings up Eisenhower's speech, or he brought up Eisenhower as being this pro-military general. Well, he actually really wasn't aware of the speech. Evidently, this is the problem where, you want to rewrite history, get rid of all of your history. History is important. You have to pay attention to history. It's a guide to the future. But that's our education system now. People throw out the old history or make up history. But you have to see the whole speech that Eisenhower made to really get the gist of it. So I decided, okay, what I'll do, it's on. All this stuff is always on YouTube. You can find it if you look. And I found that, and I put it in, if you go into libraries on my main channel here, there's a folder entitled Speeches. And in the speeches, I put a link to the Eisenhower farewell address. It's important. This stuff is important. I remember back, I was in grade school when Eisenhower was president. But you have to pay attention to that. He was warning about what is happening. And it's so funny now to see these these Democrats now are the most warmongering. They'd love nothing better than to get in a battle with Russia. And they're always accusing Russia of meddling in our elections. You know, it's just nonsense. It just so much could be done if we would learn to get along with people. Even like now, we're squawking, oh, we got to have a vaccine. We need a vaccine for this virus. Well, the Russians have one now. And this isn't some made-up thing. This is something that they developed. They were working on this kind of thing a long time ago. When this virus came up, they asked if we want to cooperate, everybody work together for the good of humanity. Oh, God, no, we couldn't get involved in that. You know, some person was saying some stupid, that, oh, there was going to be nanobots in this virus that would turn you all to communists when Russia isn't communist anymore. You know, people have got this Cold War mentality that they really got to shake. You know, like from the old Bullwinkle cartoon that Boris and Natasha slinking around doing. That's done. You know, forget about that crap. The Cold War is over. You gotta learn to get along with these people for the good of humanity. Because their virus has been tested. The British tested it. It's ready to go. They're putting it into public use now. We could have been involved in that. But no, we got to have this damned attitude. Well, part of it is here, our big pharmaceutical industry. We want something that we can make a lot of money on. We don't want to do it for the good of people, even if there is this pandemic thing. We got to do it on our own hook so that we can sell it to the government and make people take it and make a lot of money on it. It's all profit motivated. And plus the Democrats really don't want to get it over with until after the election. So you're stuck with this until then. But it could have been done right. It could have been done in a cooperative fashion, because now the Russians have licensed this out to a lot of other countries already. You know, they do a lot of good in the world, but we don't like to admit it. Okay, anyway, I put Eisenhower's farewell address on there, but I also put a couple other ones on. Because, like I say, I get tired of these so-called journalists. I put on The Wires and Lights in a Box speech by Edward R. Murrow when he was talking to the broadcast industry. That's an important speech, too, that I guess you're still lucky to find on here, because it's the kind of thing that disappears. But Edward R. Murrow was a journalist. These people that you got working these corporations now, that's not journalism. That isn't at all. Another one I put on here is The Time for Choosing by Ronald Reagan, who used to be a Democrat, come to his senses, became a Republican. But the man has a lot to say. Now, none of these are short, but it's history, and it's an important thing to have heard. So, instead of watching this garbage that they're trying to feed you, spend an hour, watch these, learn something. Know where you've been so you can know where you're going. Just frustrates the hell out of me. The news people, like I said, they will lie. And for backing stuff up, they will take things completely out of context. And if you're stupid enough to swallow them up, you deserve what you get. But there is truth out there, but you have to look for it. Don't take what they're spoon feeding you. That isn't the truth. Not even close.